This meeting is being recorded.
So the time now is 9:39 in Greece, so that's 6:39 in New Zealand, and it's Tuesday, the 27th of September. It's the Confederation of United Tribes of New Zealand flag jurisdiction, Native King Bench Court hearing. And over to you then, John.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy, and people watching. Sorry I got a bit late to start with because it just took right up to the last minute to put the agenda together and the hearing notes and everything. But Andy obviously had some problems with coming on as well. So we apologize for being late tonight, but at the moment the court is in business now. It's starting the business, and so I'll just run through the first 3 pages, then I'll go to the agenda, and at the end of the pages I'll just read mine off, Andy, and then we'll see how we go with that, and otherwise I can read from your one on some of the bits and pieces because it's a bigger screen. So the idea tonight is to find really who's legally the owner of the Confederation flag, the King William IV flag, and who has the authority from Britain to use it for its proper purpose of corporate business. And so that's we'll be talking about that in the 2 flags later on in the agenda of what I got. So we'll just start with the page 1. We've got our normal 8-point star on the flag, that with the King William on his horse and his ship in the background and his crown on top of the 8 points. That's the St. Patrick that the monarchs and the Governor General here and a few other dignitaries in the royal family are wearing, that 8-point star, because that's the money, and the rope around it is the Admiral of the mortgaged lands that go from one country to another from Britain in the beginnings. And the 8 points is not meant to be for wakas. That's on the other side, of Waitangi side, that does that. But really, it was the Municipalities Act of King William III, 1689, and he put it all together. He made the commercial contracts of kings and nobody else. So he was instrumental in using St. Patrick of Ireland. So we're connected to Ireland. That's the Irish heritage and their legal claim to this flag, and its 8-point star to pick up the rent, leases on the land, and all the taxes and everything that's put into the crown at the top there of the 8-point star of the Crown of Britain. We're still connected in a contract with that flag, and it can't be lowered. It can't be lowered on their cross rung. So they've got another problem there. They can't. You got to have the right people that can do that, and the real native, indigenous chief to make sure that that part of the contract is still intact. And in Westminster, we're still hooked to Westminster Locked Institute law in Westminster forevermore. So that's what that means, and it hooks us in the partnership with that flag, with this 8-point star, to the commercial side of it, of contracts that was started back then to King William IV and succeeding on the Dutch Protestant line. So all those people wearing the 8-point star is not Dutch, or neither are they Irish, to claim all that wealth that we're going after in our trust. We're still beneficiaries in that trust, and the Queen Elizabeth is gone now, so there's no head of the trust, and there's only Queen Sophia in Spain, the only trustee left, because the Queen sacked Prince Andrew, and the other one was King Carlos. He's died, but then his Filipino son is the king now, but he can't succeed to the trust in Westminster on that bit of land. So the Rothschilds have got a hold of this 8-point star in the City of London, a separate corporation, country and government, and we're after that 8-point star off the Bank of England and also the Rothschild family, that they don't inherit this Dutch line as much as we do with the King's flag that locks us ahead of them. So we're going to use the legal power of 20 legal instruments inside that flag to go up against the Governor General, Cindy Kiro, and Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister, for using our flag and not telling anybody. They're using it commercially as an authority to usurp it with the iwi, Maori iwi corporation. So it's all that side of the corporations of the Queen that have taken all that wealth from that 8-point star, municipalities of the councils, to collect all the money for the Crown in England, through the Crown here of New Zealand, another crown with that fake Queen in the courts with the Maori chief. That contract is still their contract, still live now, and it's going to be difficult for them to switch from that seal into King, what they're saying is King Charles' seal of the Crown Corporation's business, and us as still the beneficiaries of that trust. See, so that wealth is still there, but they're playing around with it in the United Nations, ready to dish the money out to humanity. When it's stolen, it's not theirs. It is still ours in the partnership of this 8-point star. We're making the claim to it tonight, ownership, legal and legitimate ownership of that flag tonight, ahead of the whakaputanga flag that's on Waitangi side, that has no legal in it. The lawyers told me that when I did Cook Street. They said, John, you've got to put the legal back into the flag before you can do anything with it, because it's got nothing. You won't get anywhere without it. That's why we have this court. I thought, right, it's going to take as long as to get a native court going to make this flag legal. And as far as I'm concerned, we've got enough laws and acts that have been unrefuted to make our own law against anybody using that flag for other purposes than commercial contracts of what's the king gave it for those chiefs to trade around the world and to protect the business and those people running the business on their ships. So there, it wasn't used for anything else other than to protect the business of Crown Corporation, picking up the municipalities' bit of what they owe the Crown for the use of using the Westminster Parliament system of law here. We're still locked to the law of the British laws, straight to England, but the government here in New Zealand has got their own laws, and they're fighting hard to get the Republic of Ireland to make New Zealand a republic. See, they're already telling everybody, oh, they're going to make it a new country called Aotearoa. They can't change that country's name without the native chiefs saying, no, we're going to stick to the Zealand Dutch, New Zealand Dutch, until we say we're going to change it, because Aotearoa belongs to the Maori corporation's patent right in Wellington and the government, and not to the Maoris outside of Parliament. So there, it's cut them off at Waitangi, and the government is going on their own solo with the whakaputanga, with the two flags that are flying, one for the whakaputanga and the other one for the Confederation of Native Chiefs, or the Confederation of Individual Chiefs. You see, so there's only a little handful of chiefs that has to be native to the British. When we go to Britain, it has to be a native surname, bloodline, male, to claim a native to any native in the world watching what we do. If you put a Maori in there, it will break the whole contract. It will break the whole contract if you put the wrong. That's why it's going to take a bit of time to get the right names, because if they can tell which is Maori and which is not. I've left the transliterations there for you to see the names, to check that they are native bloodline was here first. In other words, the black man, and then the white man is a Maori, and he's European bloodline. And so that's how you do it with real estate, to the certificates of title, to make it to go through the system properly. Otherwise, it will break down if it's not a native completely 100%. So that's what this native court is, to identify who is native and who is not. Then sign the documents to claim the native title to Britain and all that wealth that we still hooked to. See, at that time, at the time of 1823 to 1834, just between those times, you got two contracts going, King George IV contract and his brother King William IV contract. Those two contracts are in this native court for indigenous natives to make things right again, to take the title off these Maori in the parliament, not the Maoris outside of parliament, the ones inside, mischief ones, take it off them, strip them of their Maori land titles and their LINZ land information, Australia, New Zealand laws that they swap around all the time. So you have to dislodge that title and stick the British native title back over the whole country. That's what these documents are. They're the native title for 100% of the sovereign chief's land. The Waitangi Tribunal, you'll see in the 356 page last week, you'll see, you read it, you can see, I've put snapshots there of capturing what's Maori and what's native, and the same Victoria, Queen Victoria, saying one thing about Maori and saying another thing, that it's the Europeans here from Australia and New Zealand that have made Queen Victoria change the words. They've altered the documents to make the words that Maori, the Queen is talking to Maori, and that's impossible. It's impossible because Maori would have been on the British documents and not the Queen saying native or Aboriginal or Indigenous on their piece of the writing in the Waitangi Tribunal, what they call it, the historic documents where your claimants, the Maori claimants, have to go and get their information from there to claim their bits of land. They've split all the Maoris up and told them, you claim your little bit over there, you claim a little bit over there, and all the Europeans can claim their bits, and everybody. So it's fused everybody into one patented Maori entity. In the government is really a Maori crown government. They're using Maori now more so than they did when they first started off in 1837. They just barred Maoris from going into parliament as soon as they came out with their Maori titles. That was further from 1837. There was no Maoris around. It's only 1947 when the word Maori Land Court came out from Native Land Court. So it was Native Land Court all the way up to 1947, just when the war started in 1945. So there, that just tells you, if it was Maori back in 1837, when King William IV died, it would have been a Maori Land Court back then. Well, there's nothing, you see, there's nothing. The signals are there that there is something really wrong with the titles to the land and who owns the land and who owns the flag and who owns the king's jurisdiction to use the power of that flag. It's a very powerful flag, that, and it's in the wrong hands. And that's what we're here for in this native court, is to put it back for the sake of all New Zealanders that come under the same position as every other country in the world, with the same problem, that the native have been shut down taken their memorials off their land or their titles for their documents, for the British documents, and taken the Moai. That's why the Moai is sitting there on the first page. They took that Moai in 1868. Queen Victoria did that. And yet all the Dutch before that didn't touch any memorials. They didn't. They were there first. The Dutch were there first, where the Easter Island egg come from. So they just left it alone. And then when the British Queen went there, they knocked them over and stole one. And that's the one there. That's the one. He's standing there as God's law, LORE, truth. All these documents and all these video affidavits are truth. That's our truth word against the government's here word, and they're silent. They're saying nothing, and no one's saying nothing. The iwi Maoris are saying nothing. Even the hapus are saying nothing to what we're doing. So it must be right. So we're saying that's the law. If we don't say anything, we rule as contract law, pull you into contract, into this court, and that's it. That's really how the commercial law works under this king, under King William IV there. So we can reach straight to him through that flag and use his acts. We are using the 1830 to 1837 acts of Westminster Parliament without all the added rubbish bits added to his law to corrupt it. That's what happened with the Rothschilds taking over the Westminster Parliament. They took control of it and they told the Parliament, "You listen to us. We'll tell you how to run this corporation business." And so they usurped this king all his power for their royal families. So we're getting it back. We're using this flag to shut Jacinda Ardern and Cindy Caro off that marae, that Kororareka marae, from using it and putting it up and calling it a whakaputanga flag, because by right they would have been using it power. They're using its power because they had to get their authority from somewhere. And we're saying, no, you have no right to use it and get permission from the iwi Maori authority. And they are not the legal, legitimate landowners. The hapu is, not the iwi, not the corporates. The corporates are not the owner of the land or that flag. It's the hapu, and how they are being shut down. And so I'm there for the hapu to get their flag back into business, because we've got the legal put back in without going into the government's. If they've got legal, I'm only assuming that the government and Jacinda Ardern assuming that they have the legal right to fly that flag whenever they want to, opposite the British flag, yet they've got no connection into Westminster. They cut it off. The Queen cut their sovereignty off, severed it. So that was the end of their contract when the Queen died 4 years ago. See, so they just held there till they get their documents done, and the WEF and all the new money and all the scam carries on with the Rothschild and all their CDC controlled digital currency money that they're just about to drop out now. I was wanting to get this done tonight before the 28th or the 30th of the end of this month, when they drop their currency out, and you have to use their currency, not in this court. We don't use their currency if we don't want it. We use our own currency. I have to go into the ANZ Bank and go and fish out those pound notes I deposited in there, and then liven them up with these dead instruments on Jacinda's head, the 8 trustees' heads here in this court tonight, and also the Governor General's head. Put the death rate on them and start writing the pound note out to the bank here to cash it up. And that's how we do it with the power, that flag. We say we own it in this court, back to the hapu and the chiefs, the native individual chiefs, like how the Waitangi Tribunal writ it that way. Put the snapshots at the end where you can, well, you can, I think it's how somewhere there anyway, you can see the snapshots and a little bit of writing I put there. But it's plain to see when you read it what what actually they were saying, one in one hand and saying another in the other hand. So the whakaputanga and the Maori government, crown, and then the native and the British crown. See, those two are where we're at today. And before the 28th of October, I hope that all the chiefs up there or anybody around that knows about real estate and land ownership and who owns the country and the big boys at the top. We're going straight to the top, not halfway down. We're going straight to the Rothschilds, straight in front of them, straight in front of the government in Westminster, because they're corrupt too. The whole lot's corrupt. And the United States, the whole system is corrupt because they're going to dish the money that's stolen, all the gold that's stolen, that belongs to our trust and this flag, you see? So this government, I'm assuming that they give the authority to Britain, and the British give the authority to America, their ally, to use that flag's authority to shoot anybody on sight and out of the way of their business. So we're going to shoot it with legal laws. We're going to use this flag to shoot them out of the way with legal laws of kings and the Pope and against these people. 20 video affidavits. One video is one affidavit. So what we're saying is live. We're not dead people. We are very much visual and saying things that record. I'll read the things out, the documents out, so that it's on the record as we're living people, not corpses in those courts. So that we got that as live people against them, the government crown here and the government crown in Britain. And we've got a live contract flag, 2 live instruments that we can fold them out of the way of anything they're doing that we think. I'm trying to think for everybody to grab what I'm saying. Otherwise, it's lost. It's gone if we don't get signatures on these titles. And that's all it's going to take. 3 from North and 3 from Waikato is sufficient. And we've got 1 on from Waikato. So I've been too busy to chase after all the others. And we've got some more that to look at. But I'm just saying that the Ngāpuhi should do this for their sake because of that flag. They're not going to be very happy when they find that the whakaputanga that they've been worshipping all these years is being usurped by Kororareka marae and white Pākehā marae, I must say, and the government of Wellington. That's why they communicate to give the authority, because when you read another one of those snapshots, the merchants that landed there have an authority of their own, so they can do what they like. So they created their own hapu. They made kapotai hapu. I looked it up to see if it's listed on the Ngāpuhi marae register. No, not anywhere. Not even a taumata. See, I know what taumatas do on maraes and to make them legal. They don't have any. They just hire a kaumata or dial a kaumata onto the marae, pay him, and then that's the end of him. So that's what I'm accusing that marae of doing, to get the government's narrative going, to give them authority to that flag. This time they're doing it in broad daylight. They're doing it in broad daylight. I'm warning you before the 28th, you better wake up, because they're going to steal the whole thing, the country, the land, because you've got no titles to the land, the bits of paper that these documents are, the real essence of instruments that got title over every bit of land in this country. And it's sitting right there, ready to sign, and off to Westminster and tell them we're here now to claim our trust. And all that stolen gold and stolen wealth, land and everything that the Queen stole and the Rothschild stole, then get the whole lot back for the whole people in the world and pay the military with the pound note. We still have the pound note, the 2-bar Patterson pound note, original, to go back on and pay the Patterson family for the patent to make our Moai pound note usable under that patent, because it's theirs, that the Rothschild put one bar on it and used it for fake money in the US dollar fiat money out of a fake pound note. So that British pound note has been fake all along, and the fiat US dollar, the whole thing's been fake. The whole system, the whole of that Crown Queen system is a fake. It's fraud, it's corrupted, it's still corrupted now, still carrying on, because no one can stop them except this flag and this moa and this king. You see, so there, I'm telling a true story so that you can grab it and say, right, we're all together, we're all one. We just get some six native chiefs, that's it. And the whole world will be free. They will be all, because they're all the same native. They just pick 6 natives from America, 6 natives from Canada, 6 natives from Israel, 6 natives from Ireland, from Scotland, from Wales, from England, and that's it. And follow this model, and you can't go wrong, because I've been at it too long. And I know what I'm doing. I know what they're up to, and I know why 2 flags are flying. One is for whakaputanga on the Waitangi side, and that flag standing over there with the flag flying, and the other one is the flag, 2 ships, 2 British ships. One got there first at Kororareka, and the other one got there second. So one is ahead of the other. This one got the contract, the other one got no contract. Right? The Waitangi one got no contract. The one in Kororareka got the contract, because I do contract law and real estate and land, native land assessor, to assess the land, to make sure I got my facts right, and then it's for anybody to say it's wrong. This is what we're going to drop on Cook Street, with all this truckloads of laws right on top, and that can't move. The government can't move because there's too many seals around their face on these documents, and they're real. They're all real. They come out of Westminster, you see, except the Moai flag. So that's the pyramid that the Vatican stole. So it's on that flag as African black man, and East Island Tahitian black man of his Moai, and that obelisk and the capstone at the top of the pyramid that you got on their US dollar, all stolen. It's all stolen. The whole lot is stolen. When you say stolen Maori land, they can steal it because they own the Maori rights to everything Maori. That's why you don't get anywhere. So anyway, I'll get my breath back. So we'll start now from here, and we'll go through. That was just an overlay of where we're going with this thing. So we got our authority there, the Moai and King William IV Trust. That's our trust. That's the British trust of Queen Victoria, and all that wealth is going into this trust. The Moai Crown King William IV Trust and the Moai Crown Court. And that's standing over there as our memorial to claim Britain, because wherever Moai is, that's his land, God's land, and God's gold and God's everything. Okay, so and it belongs to everybody, not just a few bunch of people. So, but we've got the key to do all of this and put it and make sense, to take to England for the first time, to claim everything that's in instruments, the memorials, the land titles, the right chiefs, the flag, the everything, all in one. So there we go. That's of the Confederation of Chiefs World Native Magistrate King's Bench Court. See, I didn't know they had Confederation of Chiefs in the Waitangi Tribunal, because I've never read all that stuff to find that there it was, the Confederation of Chiefs, not the United Tribes. That was on Waitangi side. When they added on to a contract was already there, then there was a third party, and then the government came along with the 1835. That's a fourth party, and then they had the 1840 treaty. That's a fifth party to this flag and this king and us, the natives. Okay, so that's how it works. That's how it works. All the rest is immaterial. The whole lot is immaterial. It's just a little bunch of names, and that's it. And the rest is history. So here's our lineup from King Solomon down through King William III and to King George III and to Ernest Augustus there, and then King George IV is there. So Ernest's supposed to come after King William IV, and then King William IV, he's wearing the 8-point star right there. That's his ownership. That's our ownership. These kings, Dutch kings, are wearing the 8-point star. That's our ownership of that flag, not anybody else, not the whakaputanga, not because the government owns whakaputanga in their Waitangi tribunal writings and claiming that for their government, corporation, private business. That's all it is, private business. And so there's our lineup with King Ernest Augustus. He's supposed to be our king instead of Charlie. Charlie's got no. His mother had no coronation because she was illegitimate, and makes him illegitimate as a king of Britain, UK. They just made him a king of Britain, UK, and just reached back to Charles I and Charles II. Charles I got executed, so I can't guess that he'll be executed too for all the crimes that are going on if they find that Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria killed all those people in the world. That's all that family's good for, killing people and assassinating them and stealing land and fighting wars and causing wars with this flag. all the wars in the world is caused by this flag because it is a declaration of war flag on anybody that tampers with our business between here and Britain. So that's the meaning of that contract law that I'm putting on this court tonight, that this government has got this declaration of war right on top of their business, right on top of their person, their living being, and everything they own. This flag is going on your heads tonight, and all the other people with their photos, and all the court hearings stacked up with all their names right through the years, back to 2008 when I first started on Cook Street. All those names are in there, including Helen Clark and the whole government that stole the foreshore in seabed and put the Moai statue on Lyle Bay in Wellington and proclaimed the whole Pacific. See, all these things are stolen memorials and people's property. Those are people's property that they steal, steal this and sell it in the auction. See. So there we are. There's England, the Red Cross, and Scotland, and Ireland is the 8-point in our flag, and 8 points of the 4 corners of the world. That's Ireland. That's Ireland bit, and Scotland is the Freemasons' certificate of title survey of lands to cut it up into usable instruments and sell the land. So that's what they're there for. There's our flag flying opposite. The British flag is still a corporate partnership with Britain, and this government, they put it up as and call it whakaputanga, and to fool the Maoris into thinking that they're going to be well off. No, you're not going to be well off. You're not going to get anything out of it. They're only them that use it because they know what to do with the contracts. You don't. That's the only trouble. I'm there for you to show you how to get it and use it against them and get the contract to the whole world, right? It's here. It starts here before it went to America. They took it from here to America in the Treaty of Waitangi, fraud document. That's what they did. Now here's Chief Tira Waikato Wharehere Manukau and King George IV with all those 8-point stars to pick up all the rent off the land, made a deal with him to sell the whole of New Zealand country because he was going to take it if he didn't put his name on a native title to this country. So all we had to do is go to Edinburgh and claim the native title there in the records with the Freemasons. Know what I'm talking about. They know they've been watching me all the time. Even when Mohi Manukau died, the old guy, they said, John, you give all those papers back. What you're doing with Mohi, give all those papers back. I held on to them all the time because I wanted to keep it intact for the day that I go and meet them in Edinburgh in their main office and say, right, I'm here now with these chiefs. We're here to cut a deal with you, and you got a stake in the crown. We got a stake in the crown, so we make a deal where we're going to go with this partnership with Britain as a federal state government flag. See, so we're making the partnership with Britain as a federal state government instead of this government here calling this country Aotearoa, because that's the name that's registered in the dirty United Nations stolen money outfit, and fraudsters and crooked thieves, pirates. They're over there running that United Nations that Trump wanted to shut down. That's why they got rid of him, because he wanted it shut down. And he says, I want it because it's all fraud. And he was right about that. So there, that's that part. That's our contract. There's our other contract with Michael Boyce, Admiral of the Fleet. Without him in Parliament, as in the House of Lords, they have no authority to the mortgage documents and the 8-point star. I think he's wearing the 8-point star to pick up the money off all the king's conquered lands in the world, and the rent and everything, all the land titles, everything that's gone into the crown in England. So we are there as claimants of the big crown, not the little one over here. They're just a pittance over here. So that's what I want to do to the Governor General here, shut her out. I want to shut her out myself as the president of this confederation and ownership of this flag on behalf of Ngāpuhi, the keepers of that flag, but they need to know what part of it they own. And this is what I'm telling you. You own what I say. That's it. That's it. They haven't listened to me for years. And now if they listen again, because I'm not going to be on this earth much longer, and if you don't do it, it's lost. It's lost. And they just take the whole lot over next year. They'll take this whole country and you won't have nothing. They'll say, you own nothing and you'll be happy. So that's what you got. You're facing that. And Jacinda Ardern and Cindy Kiro are about to steal this country, the land, everything. They want everything. They want the flag too. After all these years, they want that flag. So here, I'm going to read this out, the letter that I wrote to. This is just a bit to Cindy, just to tell her that I'm writing to the trustees from the Confederation of Chiefs of 50 Indigenous Suriname Native Chiefs descendants. I've only picked that up only because of that land block in the area close on that side where the flag is flying, the first flag contract. To Kororareka Marae trustees, the chairman and Maori Kaumatua speaking for Maori Crown. So they have to have a Maori Kaumatua on that marae. Like I say, they'll just dial a Kaumatua to come and do the officiating of a marae on a Pākehā marae. They're Pākehās, not real native. There's no native. I can't see a native in there, which makes it not a native marae, and it's not registered in the marae. So it's just their own hapu they made up. Your Excellency, see the Right Honourable Dame Cindy Kiro, GNZM QSO, Governor General of New Zealand, and your private corporations here. I'm talking about the trustees. Government House, where I send your letter and decree writ warrant, 356 pages of court legal documents to you and these 8 Crown Agent trustees, PO Box 236 Russell 10242, and to you, Governor General Cindy Kiro, at your private bag 3995 Wellington, Mail Centre, Lower Hutt 5045, New Zealand. Now that wasn't the right address, but that's the address that I saw as being Haratu Marae. And yeah, they've got Haratu Marae and they've got Kororareka Marae. So the name Kororareka means more because that other marae belonged to a chief, Rewa chief. And so well, they choose the Kororareka marae because it's Kororareka land. So there, that you wear the 8-point star king flag contract, a prosecuted offence. We're prosecuting her before and tonight again for wearing that 8-point star that don't belong to her. It belongs to the hapu and this flag owners, the chiefs. I'm saying and talking for the chiefs. I've been talking up at Waitangi for a few years about what to do. Confederation of Chiefs, individual tribesmen. This is the words that they use in the tribunal. Individual chiefs and chiefs of their sovereign lands as sovereigns of their lands. The office Hamilton. That's where I am operating under this. because it's the Manukau tribesmen that I represent of the two Manukau's, Te Waikato Wharehere Manukau with King George IV, and Rewhere for Manukau up in Rafiti on top of the hill. He's there. That's his grave. If they dig it up, it'd be right one. And Queen Victoria. And Pomare at the time was selling the land up there, the same time as Rewhere for Manukau was selling the land in Auckland. Today, Tuesday, 27th of September 2022, trustees of Kororareka Marae and Russell, Bay of Islands, Kapatai, Hapu, not listed, no taumata. So there's something not right as far as the years I've been going on marae doing native court hearings in front of everybody. I've never come across a marae that's got that much power from the government to do what they want because the tribunal written that way, that they have authority of their own. And I'm sure, pretty sure, they're sucking the living legal daylights out of that flag, the Confederation of Individual Chiefs flag, for their authority. So we want to get rid of them with that flag. We're going to drop the flag power right on top of their head on the 28th, okay, and give them this notice and see what they're going to do about it. See what they're going to do about it, Gregory. These are the people. Maria Mapet, she's the chairperson. Jane Hindle, she's the deputy chair. Heather Linda. I have to say this because they are working for the Crown. Something incorporation. Incorporation. I can't read that. I can't read that, but she's there. Sue Weston, trustee. Here's the trustees here. These are the ones, the trustees are the legal ones doing the business. Marcia Davis, trustee. Tracy Rawiri, trustee. Tracy Coddigan, trustee. Sean Royal, trustee. And who else? And that's all. Those are the 8 trustees of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 trustees are on notice with £1 trillion on their head bounty for being involved and complicit with the fraudulent government. I'm calling the government the fraudulent, corrupted, criminal organization, like the Pope said. If there's criminal organization going on, well, I'm going to the police. I'm taking all this to the police. They said, don't send it, put it in the email and send it that way. So that I'm going to file the complaint for fraud, treason, murder, and bioweapons, and stealing of land and gold and everything off people. And so they get these pound notes on their heads in this court because there's no other way to be nice about it. There's no nice in commercial business. There's no love or aroha in business. It's just, that's how it works. They don't care. Notice to the agent is notice to the principal. It's supposed to go the other way around, principal. Notice to principal is notice to the agent. So they know what I mean. And trustees of Kororareka Marae, of Kapotai, Hapu, and Crown agents, that Ngāpuhi knows you betrayed them and they are not happy with you all. You are photographed as complicit in the fraud New Zealand government and parliament, foreign government, private corporation, racketeering business for your own financial investment, economic, banking, land title, New Zealand Crown Corporation's interests, and not the interests of the Confederation of Individual Chiefs, as stated in the Waitangi Tribunal's writings and statements, and population of New Zealand, especially the New Zealand population. They should know about what's happening here. Really been doing it for years, 178 years. It was 188 years, 180 years since 1831, as the Waitangi Tribunal says, native were recognized by King William the Fourth letter in the drawing up of a contract. Financial, you had to have a contract to do things with a country. and you just needed a native chief to do it. One chief did it. Financial investment interests. So you are aiding and abetting the criminal organization of this government. All these 187 years, you have assisted the New Zealand Navy and government to usurp our Confederation of Chiefs King William IV flag and its commercial contract. We cut you all our British native land titles now. We cut you off, supposed to be. Now you forged into your white skin, Pākehā. That word Pākehā is used right through that Waitangi Tribunal report. They say Mr. Pākehā, a Hapu tribe. They're calling themselves a Hapu. They're calling themselves a tribe, and they're using the authority that Hapu has as rangatira. They're calling themselves rangatira. To make out you are Maori with the corporate Maori in Parliament going against the native people of this country. Native people of the country means everybody that's born here. That's what you call native. We now sever your ties to the native land, and you must read the snapshots that I have posted in the bound up 356-page writ warrant, deeds, and decree affidavits of Truth Moai Crown Law, LORE, and King William IV Law, LAW, of Admiralty, that this court forces on you today before the 28th of September 2022. That's tomorrow. You are served this final notice to stop using the Maori Whakaputanga flag and your jurisdiction as third party and fourth party Treaty of Waitangi Maori claims to a mere 1% of what you white skin Pākehā have stolen off the native peoples of these lands, meaning everybody. You have no traditional title. They use contemporary title done by professors, white man professors, registered in Britain. You've got nothing in Britain with traditional titles we have to take there. All these things we're putting together with Maori tribe existence is but an illusion, myth, tribe you invented to steal the land, and we have caught you all out defrauding the sovereign chiefs of their native land and robbed the rest of the native born people of New Zealand. And now it's for you to refute what I am saying in this legal, legitimate King's Bench Magistrate Court, Bank, Federal, State, Sovereign, Republic, flag, all that in a mouthful. Corporate business, that's what we are. We're corporate business. You are under our own trading rights, trading seals and trading icons that's on the bottom of the page of the documents with that title turbine and the Moai company seal. You're facing in this court hearing on Tuesday, 27th of September 2022 at 7 p.m. New Zealand time on Zoom ID, passcode here, Andrew Devine is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting topic, Confederation of United Tribes of New Zealand flag jurisdiction. We have to do something about that bit because it's got the other side of, I just need to identify this for those people on the other side. The United Tribes comes in from the native to everybody is united in the world. That's what the united bit there means as far as we're concerned with Andy and our British partners. He's our partner in Britain, to call it the United Tribes of New Zealand flag jurisdiction over 250 countries in the world. So that's what that united tribe means here with the Confederation. Everyone in the world where our titles have gone with that flag. Native King's Bench hearing. Time September 27, 2022, 10 a.m. Athens, 7 p.m. New Zealand time, join Zoom meeting. We're just giving them a chance to come in and into the meeting with the letter tonight, but they got it in their email and enough time to come on and do something. But they can come in this court anytime. Anybody can come in this court and join every Saturday, anytime to contest. But they must have titles, because if they get it wrong, they're gone. They get the pound note dropped on their head, £1 trillion. If you get anything wrong in this court and come in here and challenge what we're saying, you get penalty straight off. That's how That's how the natives did it in the early days. They did it on a marae. The court is a marae. The marae is a court. And they made the decisions, bang, that was the finish of it, if someone broke the rules. So you have to defend yourself on Tuesday night, 7 p.m., or suffer the consequences of this native court, charge you £1 trillion notes each for your part in the government scam fraud business. You are complicit in these criminal organizations that are in 356 pages written law affidavits in 20 separate online downloadable color pages and 20 affidavit videos that have not been refuted becomes law of contract and contracts of our law of this court over you and the New Zealand Crown agents, as Pope Francis said in his motu proprio letter. So we're using motu proprio in all these 20 affidavits and 20 document books. It's on you, each of your heads. The whole book dropped on everybody's head, singly, one by one. Decides prosecution in this British-based King's Bench Magistrate Court to find you what the court decides cannot be contested with the King's Empress seals of this court today and from now on extant forevermore under our Confederation of Individual Chiefs flag ownership over your Maori Crown State whakaputanga flag. I'm accusing them of using the whakaputanga flag for their business to get authority from it. Is condemned. We're condemning them using that flag from today on the sovereign indigenous individual chiefs native lands. Read the screen prints I have cut out at the back of the book. I send you on the Pākehā white man professor's own words. I separated from the British Queen Victoria and King William IV writings and native indigenous Aborigines sovereigns over their lands. I'm just writing it how it was on the tribunal as proof there was no Maori at the years of 1769, 1825, 1834, and 1835. No Maori land court until 1949, only native land courts. So you are caught up in this scam business. We're shutting down with our King's flag, jurisdiction and legal authority. You are surrounded by these King's Empress Crown seals. I'm writing to you today as President of the Confederation of Individual Chiefs and Public of New Zealand interests that we forbid you from claiming the Maori whakaputanga flag. I'm talking to those Maoris in government, not the ones outside, not the ones on Waitangi. Maori whakaputanga flag with the Governor General Cindy Kiro on your marae when she visits you on Friday, 28th of October 2022, to try to steal our Confederation of Chiefs King William IV contract ownership, land, sea, and Admiralty flag that legally belongs to the native indigenous Aboriginal chiefs of Dutch New Zealand, that's how it's spelled, as Queen Victoria has stated in the Waitangi Tribunal statements of 1840 Treaty of Waitangi Claims. In snapshots, I have a £1 trillion debtor instrument on each of your heads in this court, and your crown pays balance. So there, strip you of everything because we're brutal, because this flag is being used to kill people, murder them and everything, and we're using this to go and whop all the people in that fraud, in all over the world, all over the world. Now here's the pound, put £1 trillion, and I got my head over there. Jamie put it over there. So that's she designed all this, and that's they're in the ANZ Bank. So I'll just go in there, pull them out, and say, honour them with this debt on these people's head, and say, this is how it's going to happen because we have the law, we have the flag to do it. We have chiefs on the document to do it. So we should have enough chiefs, and any chief can sign any time after that, just to fill the spare pages I'll put at the back of the native title ownership and flag ownership of this business, right? So we can roll some more. Now carry on some more. And so Jamie's got her photo in there, in £50 notes. He said, oh, I'll just have a £50 note, not a big one. And posted to you in Pākehā Waitangi Tribunal writings that I have shown the people of New Zealand and the world watching how you defrauded the public of New Zealand. This is in the public's interest. It's in the public's interest to be writing like this, with altering British land title deeds with the word Maori for Maori hapu who claim the same whakaputanga flag, the same way as you are claiming to, is illegal tampering of our 1831-1834 Confederation of Individual Chief Sovereigns of their land, as I have screen printed in this native land title claim bound up book that I am registering by courier. I did that. They're gone now, post today, to make sure you get it personally. Serve the decree writ warrant notice to cease and desist from claiming our 8-point star of St. Patrick Church Municipalities Corporation contract flag to King William III, King George IV, King William IV, where I get my corporate legal authority and jurisdiction from to ownership of this Confederation of Chief flag. That's what I'm saying. We get our authority. Oh, I'm getting it for all of us in New Zealand. Sovereign nation of, it's the sovereign nation of New Zealand flag. Before the 1840 became the founding document of New Zealand, there's a lot of crap. Jurisdiction over your jurisdiction. So we're putting the jurisdiction here right over the top of their jurisdiction and start writing the pound note out without getting held up. I've got to tell the police that I'm going to start writing that pound note out right now. I have clearly explained to the world of 20 videos, affidavits of our live bodies, living bodies, lips moving, native magistrate King's Bench court hearing, and 20 legal native title documents and British Crown laws of England and Wales, Ireland, Scotland, the Freemasons Memorial Land Survey instruments in Edinburgh, Scotland, and the 8-point star money Corporation of St. Patrick in Northern Ireland, and my Rogan and Cosgrove coat of arms there in Downpatrick Island. So I've got a connection in Ireland to my family there. I claim to the four corners of the globe with that 8-point star. So I'm doing that for everybody in the world on our Confederation flag of New Zealand, federal state republic. It's already a federal state with that flag, government. We have the right to be self-governing, partnership with Britain, still in partnership, against your foreign government corporation, new abhorrent name called Aotearoa, linked to the United Nations, where you are attempting to take our flag as your Maori whakaputanga flag stolen from the Ngāpuhi Hapu. When they see this exposed here, they will react to your daylight robbery of their Confederation flag as Maori being dumbed down again after your fraud 1840 Treaty of Waitangi scam. That's what I'm calling it, because I watched it all these years. Now this Confederation of Chief flag is a Britain-given authority over your United Nations Aotearoa name of Dutch New Zealand, that's Dutch, conflict of interest. The public doesn't know about your uncertainty, because you are uncertain with 3 years to change your government all the time. So it's only temporary. Uncertainty and vague representations. That word vague is used in the treaty, the tribunal of your writings is all in vague and it's not clear, making against the public interest. I'm here for the public's interest of what they want and not what you force on them, away from the original Dutch Emperor's King of Britain, who created this country and got you onto the land in the first place. So I'm telling you to stop usurping our contract flag right now and stay with your own 5-point star Union Jack Sea flag and leave our flag alone. Now we caught you red-handed, and stop your Governor General Cindy Kiro from wearing our 8-point star St. Patrick Protestant Church symbol of wealth, money, on her chest and hand it back to us. Now want you off our lands and removed from governing our country under your own sovereign government controls to take over our flag and country I warn you, your corrupt, fraud, iwi Maori trustees and Prime Minister enough times, and you fail the people and now must pay the consequences of your ignorance of our King William IV commercial contract at Akuhata Native Magistrate Court in Kororareka in 1831 and 1834, with a small handful of 13 native surnamed chiefs, and King William IV contract sealed in Westminster Parliament extant forevermore, cannot be changed, of the Dutch founding nation of New Zealand, as what we, the Confederation of Chiefs of Tribes of New Zealand, want it kept as New Zealand until we want to change it, not you and your Maori incorporations, private corporations, who don't have the original native surname British land titles to New Zealand country. We forbid you from illegally changing with your corporation foreign government interests, namely World Economic Forum, United Nations, World Health Organization, New World Order takeover. You are connecting to as criminal organizations that Pope Francis said in his motu proprio, that you and your New Zealand Crown agents are not immune from prosecution. So none of you, even the Governor General, is immune from prosecution in this court. In our native magistrate King's Bench Court of adequate laws we use to combat criminal organizations accuse you of administering with your government for your own self-interest and not in the public interest of New Zealand citizens or individual people who are sovereigns as of right to decide for themselves what's best for them. And I am saying here the same thing is what we, the people, decide what's best for us. In my letter to you today, locked you in a default contract to me and the Confederation of Chiefs. Regards, John Hawaii Kahagi Wanoa. Native Land Assessor, Confederation of Chiefs President, and Surrogate King William III, King William IV. So there, that's locked in law today. And I want to make sure that we have legal authority to write the pound note into cash, money, usable, hard cash in your hand, and not digital currency control that you get switched on and off with their money. We don't want that. We forbid that to be on this land, in this country, and any other country that follows what we do. So we're doing this forgery and counterfeiting the British government native title documents in the Native Magistrate King's Bench Court hearing Saturday 24th, that was then September 2022, was against Jacinda Kate Laurel Ardern and Governor General Cindy Asalam Kiddo, charged with fraud under the Forgery and Counterfeiting Act 1981. So we're linking her and those 356 pages to every other corporate agent, Crown agent, with 1 trillion on all the agents and 100 trillion on top of the main leaders, the ones that drive the scam business. So we're going to draw on those pound notes after tonight and stop any more fraud on these lands. So if that's fair enough to Ngāpuhi, if that's what you want, sign the documents. And if that's all you need to do to get all your land back, the whole lot, 100% of land, the whole works. Finish on the 28th. Tell the government, lay off. Don't touch that flag and call it a whakaputanga flag and hoist it up and get the authority from the marae there, the Pākehā marae, to give you the authority to use it for your contract. You got your own flag for your contract out to sea, your 200 miles out in the sea, not on the dry land. That's why you're doing these nasty, naughty things with our flag, because you know you have no authority on dry land. You've got your courts with your docks. We don't have courts and docks. We do it anywhere. That's our authority to have these court hearings at any time, anywhere, and just bring people together remotely and online on Zoom, which is really the better way to do it, with the video to make sure that it's spoken. That's what you do on the marae. You speak face to face, or kanohi to kanohi. That's face to face. We're talking face to face are like this. And that's how tikanga law is. You say things that you say are true until someone says it's not. So no one says anything, it's all silent. That's the law. We make the law from silence and non-performance of anybody at any time can come into the court and defend themselves of their pictures and what I write about them as criminal. Anybody that's tied to the government is criminal. The whole of every corporate business is criminal. They'll have to pay the bill. Every single property developer, any people that have made money and took advantage of the crooked laws of this country are going to have to pay the bill. That's how it works. That's how this court works fairly for all the people over 187 years that are being robbed, stolen off, and took their family kids, broke the families up, caused a lot of harm and loss and injury to their bodies, especially to their bodies, and look at it now. This is all against you. You're complicit. You 8 trustees and all the other trustees have got their names in Tainui and all over the place. Their photos locked in this court with £1 trillion on your head. You just join them. That's what I'm saying here. We have the authority to do that on these native lands. So there in Ngāpuhi, there for the Ngāpuhi natives. Make yourself native and change everything on what you're doing in that system. Back to normal. So we go down a bit more. Forgery, making false instrument. This is just the main one, Andy, is that the government here has updated the forgery, or the government in the UK, this is UK's laws, Britain, they updated on the 23rd of March 2022 these acts that I'm using against these Crown agents. Any Crown agent, doesn't matter who it is, the trustees are the ones that are the legal landowners, people. They are the legal landowners, and we're taking the legal land ownership off them with the original legal landowners, the native chiefs individually. There, that's how you do it. That is how you do it without question, without anybody arguing, without anybody having to say anything, because it's too much for anybody. If you've got all these instruments, you've got the memorials that matter, you've got the law right on your side, you've got all the hallmarks of how Westminster runs. We're doing what Westminster does, not what the government over here does. We're doing where it started from in the first place. So there, you can't go wrong. So we roll up some more, Andy. I'll skip through offences concerning, I'll just say the few things concerning counterfeiting notes. This is with the pound note, the Rothschild single bar pound note was fraud. It's counterfeit. Notes and coins, the money, well, especially the pound note that went into the US dollar, that's all counterfeit. And the banks that use the counterfeit, the whole lot is a counterfeit of all the money and the coins and everything. The handling is still complicit in this fraud scam money business here of altering documents to suit themselves and their corporations. So there, we're going as corporations to head them off with the laws that made the corporations in the first place. Forgery Act, this is what we're using on Sandy Kiro. A person is guilty of forgery if he makes a false instrument. They made false instrument by changing the word native into Maori. That's false instrument that changed the whole of the way people live, with the intention that he and another shall use it to induce somebody to accept it as genuine. That's what they did. They said, take it or leave it. Use our Waitangi Tribunal information and don't use anything before 1840, otherwise we won't accept it. You have to accept what we give you, not what you tell us. I'm telling them, no, that's not right. You listen to us. We have the right to do this to you, not you do this to us through this court. So there, we're going around the other way and sticking it back on them with more authority than what they've got. So there, we so we can carry on, Andy. We can roll down some more. instrument. I won't say too much of these. The instrument includes any document, postage stamp, mark, denoting payment in the revenue, stamp, disc, tape, soundtrack, or any device. All the inland revenue is fraud as well. So all of that, all this stuff through here, Andy, is fraud. A purpose false instrument is one that purports to be something which is not. They're purporting marriage to be something it's not. That not saying anything about the marriage outside, and they're like around the countries that want to be married. That's fine, but it's the marriage inside the government that's screwing you lot of marriage outside, and why you can't get anywhere because they control everything Maori, including everything you do on Maori land. It must tell a lie of itself. That's what they're doing, lying to you about these instruments they use and made you comply and sign their treaty settlements as you're settled for less than 1%, take it or leave it. If you don't, you won't get nothing from us. And that's just the pittance. An instrument that tells a lie about its subject matter or relevant factual circumstances. See, they're not fact. They haven't got facts. Section 9(1)(g) states that an instrument is false. They have false history, false whakapapa, false titles, false land transfer instruments, false crown, false, the list goes on. So I won't say anymore. That's it. Banknote, Chira, 1994, 9595, where a bank officer wrote a note in which he said he had received and endorsed a letter of credit. In fact, he had seen no such letter. So there, that's bank sent it to. They're fraud on Cook Street. All the bank is fraud, and the real estate agents, the conveyancing lawyers are in trouble with me. An instrument will be false for the purpose of Section 9(1)(g) if it is a document which requires, before it can be made altered, that there should exist or should have existed a set of circumstances, and those circumstances do not or did not exist. That's what I'm saying about this treaty of Waitangi, settlements and everything that the iwi trustees do as legal landowners. We're stripping them of being legal landowners in this court tonight. Making false instrument if they alter an instrument so that it makes it false in respect whether or not it is false in some other respect apart from that alteration. The whole thing has been altered. That's why I'm telling these 8 trustees, it's not your fault, but you went with it. You went with it. And it's rolled over every year for 187 years. You've gone from generation to generation to keep that system going. You are the inheritors of that legal system, corruption of these native chiefs' titles to their sovereign lands. That's what I'm saying here. While we're snapping it right now, we're snapping them, caught them, tell Ngāpuhi, this is what's going to happen, because I can see it myself. If you've been doing this for a long time, you can see it. You can see it. Otherwise, it wouldn't come out this way. If you didn't see it, you would have missed it. No one would have known, and they would have got away with it. They're not getting away with it with this Moai looking at them, and he's got God's law watching what they do and telling me what to do. See, so there. That's where my authority comes from, the God up there. No Bibles, nothing like that, but just plain truth. That's it. Offences under Section 125 Forgery and Counterfeiting Act. So there's a lot more Criminal Justice Act. We can prosecute if a relevant evidence occurred in England, Wales, and New Zealand. We apply the English British law because it's King William's laws in the first place. So we use King William's laws and drop it on everybody. So there, that's enough of that, Andy. we'll just go watch this further on custody control of counterfeit note. So that's more on the notes tomorrow. We'll just roll slowly past. Well, because we don't have much pages to go through. I just want to make sure that there we go. Offences under Section 124 and Section 5(1) and 5(3), Forgery and Counterfeiting Act 1981, are either way maximum of 10 years imprisonment or fine or both. We're taking 10 years for imprisonment if they can't contest what I'm saying in this government with the Governor General and Cindy and Jacinda Ardern. If they can't refute what I'm saying, then they are liable for this under Pope Francis law. They are liable for 10 years or more and both. So we're taking them for both, for everything, for all that they've stolen over 187 years, wrapped up and thrown at them. That adds up to a lot. That's a lot that got away with. They're not going to get away with. The more we go after Rothschild's wealth by putting these big notes on their head, the more we can rake out of that crowd and their business and shut them down, foreclose on them and liquidate them with the pound note. That's the idea of this court, Ngāpuhi. It's to liquidate anybody on your land that you say is criminal. And you'll have plenty of them. You'll have truckloads of people that have got on the land that were put there by the Crown and took the whole big tracts of land for one owner, and he just made everything for the government to pick up the money from their business and left all the poor people with nothing. Offences under Section 14.1, 15.1, 16.1, 17.1, Forgery and Counterfeiting Act 1981 are either way maximum 10 years. Oh, I said that, but good to say it twice so that they can get it in their head, right? That's the whole idea. Sink it in. Suck it up. Counterfeiting, lifestyle offences of purposes confiscation of criminal property. See, criminal property under Section 75 and Schedule Proceeds of Crime Act 2002. We seize everything under this Proceeds of Crime Act, whip them all off them on everything they own. I don't care when it comes to thuggery and piracy. I have no feelings for any corporation that is a thug and a pirate. If I say they are, they are. And there, you must think that way if you want your land back, people. That you think like a pirate. If you can act and talk like one, you'll win over them. Okay, we'll go on. This is just cards now. We're not too worried. The ID, they're using the birth certificate ID. It comes in this or Land Registration Act, Statutes and Executive Documents, Section 4. This is the land that they're on. Section 4 Evidence Act, 1845, Section. See, we can go back in time. Section 4 Documentary Evidence Act, 1868 Documentary Evidence Act. So these are to do with land and all of that, if you looked into that far. But we're saying the land is native land, so there's no need to go any further. We've got the instrument, the flag and the pound note. That's it. That is it. Possessions with intent, Act, Principles Amendment is a reference, narrow personal information rather than registrable facts. So all your personal information they've stolen, including the jab. That's stolen information. They've got it, they've forced it off you. So false identity document, that's a jab, and these digital things they've got on you. This was this one on those trustees. You're responsible for all this, what I'm saying. What's this? Falsifying British government print documents, offence up to 10 years imprisonment. That's altering documents. This is a serious offence of altering UK government print documents, offences up to 10 years, forgery and counterfeiting, maximum 10 years imprisonment. So there it gives you a benchmark of tampering with documents of British and making it as if Maori was there in 1831. How you Pākehā invented your own New Zealand Crown Corporation Maori tribe against the individual native chiefs tribe on this Kororareka native land, which is owned by these native sovereign chiefs. Here in this Waitangi Tribunal snapshot, native evidence clearly, page 8 clearly shows there was only Indigenous people, Aboriginal tribes, 1833, 1835, 1837. Aboriginal Protection Society was set up for Aborigines, not for Maori, in 1835 to 1837, when King William was going. See? So there, it just says there. I won't read that. I'll just put those are some of my own writing up the top there. But it's these bits down here. The British experience of empire, British Empire by legislation in 1833. Here, indigenous people, the Parliamentary Committee on Aboriginal Tribes concerned for convened for 2 years, 1833 to 1835, and reported in 1837, the same year that the Aboriginal Protection Society was formed. It was formed for Aborigines, not for Maoris. See, can you see that now? You see, New Zealand Association 1837. So there, no Maoris in that snapshot. Proof. That's the proof. This is the affidavit that I'm using to capture these thugs and pirates, native chiefs and tribes from the settlement amongst them of Her Majesty's subjects, protect the native chiefs and tribes in their just rights. See, just rights. William Hobson, Esquire, Captain in Her Majesty Navy, there's the Navy, native chiefs, there's the native chiefs, Her said Majesty Queen Victoria is talking to native chiefs, and Hobson there shall exercise absolute sovereignty, the native chiefs absolute sovereignty in and over the said native chiefs, their tribes and country. The country belongs to the native. There, that's it. It belongs to the natives, not those Maori trustees. Native chiefs and tribes and Her Majesty's subjects, Her Majesty's subjects and dominions, and the said native chiefs again do hereby, on behalf of themselves and tribes engaged not to sell, otherwise alienate any lands occupied. So natives were not allowed to sell a land, only Maoris. You see, because the Maoris was the queen selling the land, not the king and the native. You see what I mean? It split you out. Here, page 2014 exhibit, there was no Maori in New Zealand where the Pākehā sneaked in the Confederation of United Tribes right here over the Confederation of Individual Chiefs with the same Queen Victoria. It is not possible to call individual chiefs a confederation of chiefs by the same statement. Maori is and not a true bloodline male native. Confederation is misinformation, word tampering. See, so there. So there, Queen of England absolutely and without reservation all the rights and powers of sovereignty which the said Confederation of Individual Chiefs respectively exercise or possess or may be supposed to exercise or to possess over their respective territories, that means anywhere, as the sole sovereigns thereof. There's your sovereign, Andrew. There's your sovereign, people. There's your sovereign, Ngāpuhi, right in this snapshot. Take a photo of it and put it on your wall and read it religiously from now on every day, that you are the sovereign landowners, sole. That means you, the native, not the Maori. See? So you just say, no, I'm native. You see, that's all you have to say. Note for the record today, Saturday, 24th September, that was on last week, 2022 at 6 p.m. New Zealand time, that Queen Victoria said, Confederation of Individual Chiefs, in brackets, the Native Magistrate King's Bench Court here, state clearly on Zoom, live video, this proof of claim Native Chiefs statement, not United Tribes of Maori European mixed race people at 1837, Queen Victoria. End of story. That's it. That's it. Put the hammer down and chuck that one at them. Forward exhibit, Pākehā gave themselves their own authority over the true native surnames, sovereign owners of their lands. Now here says in red, this is their writing. In Kororareka, local merchants had during the 1830s, this is the ones from Australia, the missionaries, and the ones from New Zealand, not the ones straight from Britain, sought to assert their own authority. That's what they're doing there at Kororareka. The missions had achieved a degree of economic independence. There's that word independence, because this is an independence flag. They just borrowed the independence side from Waitangi for the independence side, 1835, and took the whakaputanga there of 1835, and they took the Confederation from 1834 straight to Britain. See, so that's skiving, thuggery, piracy on the high seas. Page 352, fraud exhibit proof of claim that in 1820 Waikato made a contract with King George IV as native indigenous Aboriginal as British state here. So what I'm doing is claiming the Waikato name in Tainui area that doesn't belong to Tainui iwi. It belongs to the native of this country. The ones are put onto that native title to take to Britain. See, so I picked one, Te Awhitu. That's one native original surname, male line, bloodline, that's on that title to claim this title. One. I just get them one by one. You see, just three. I need three for all the rest of them. Just pick out the elder. Someone is 70, 80. I'm 73. So anybody older than me, but they won't have the information. They won't have the knowledge. You just tell them this is how you get your land back. For your next generations and next generation, and stop all this humbug, jabbing and things that belong to that thuggery business in Wellington. Get rid of them. Get rid of the business off your land. Kawharu, that's on One Tree Hill. This kawharu here is the wrong kawharu. This is a professor kawharu, and writing all these stories about the wrong kawharu. We got the right kawharu to take Cook Street. So I'm telling the police, you see this affidavit here, this kawharu is the wrong one. That Manuka Henare is the wrong one. These are these white Maoris. Henare is Henry, a white man, male. You see, I've got those transliterations. You'll see them. You can check the names to see who's Maori on that thuggery side and who's native out of that lot. But all that transliteration is no natives in there. They're all white surnames that made their name into a Maori to claim the Maori title, because that's how they set it up here. It wasn't set up in Britain. It was set right on this land at Kororareka in Wellington in Parliament. Manuka, especially Kororareka, because that's where the first native magistrate court went down to turn the study something. No, a little thing came up. Turn that off. Like Manuka Henare, these are these professors, these Pākehā, mischief Pākehā, that wrote this Waitangi Tribunal report up, but they didn't realize they're going to get snapped like this after all these years, and thought they might get away with it. Now, we caught them here now, writing these stories up for Pākehās and calling Pākehās mischief. See, so they're making out that Maori Pākehās were just as mischief as the Maori, the ones that they say was the indigenous people of this land that had the title to the land, the Maori Land Court. It's not true. All the Maori Land Court titles are not true as a real estate man. Anyway, assess 934, download. See, I put that Waitangi Tribunal government.nz here to hook them in the fraud. That it's got their thread here all the way through the Waitangi Tribunal writings. So they're liable, the whole lot of them. Every one of them got £1 trillion on their head. That's how you get all the money back out of the Rothschild. You go after them, drop the pound note on their head, all of them, the whole bloody lot of them. 1820, with Hongi and Waikato's meeting with King George. So there's Waikato that I'm claiming. Decreed law affidavit proof of claim to New Zealand native title. Native Paramount Chief Te Waikato Wharehere Manukau, and words suggested that the land issues were a crucial factor to Maori agreement to the treaty. See, that's the treaty on the Waitangi side. That's their treaty and their founding of New Zealand, but the founding is on the other side, in Kororareka with that flag, that British flag, found the country first, and they're saying, no, we found it second. And we got the title on this side. See, all these Zoom video affidavits and 20 documents, affidavits, what page are we on? Our legal law of King William III, King George III, King George IV, King William IV, and laws of Pope Francis Multipropria, and my Crown Court law, that's in this court we're doing, of God's truth law, that you eight trustees are now liable, are all liable for £1 trillion my pound note, Great Britain pound note equivalent or higher, as Moai has its own money currency against the criminals administering criminal organisation, we the Native Magistrate King's Bench Court, under this 8-point star, St. Patrick, Protestant King William IV, and Native Confederation of Chiefs Commercial Contact, King William III, Irish Municipal Corporations flag. That's what it is. It's a municipal, Irish Municipal Corporations flag, legal native land title ownership documents. These are ownership documents that you're looking at online. We hold as the landlord, we are the landlord, King's Emperor's Superior Court, law of Britain, authority over you, and use our flag power to foreclose on your business corporations for defrauding the Native Confederation of individual chief sovereigns of their land ownership you don't legitimately have under our King Seals and Crown Legal Inheritance and Queen Victoria Trust account that we own to, and you are not to give the Governor General Cindy Asalon Kido the consent of your Kapotai Hapu and Kororareka Marae without a listed Ngāpuhi approved marae and native chief surname sovereign landowner approved by this legitimate legal authority court, and me, the court judge and prosecutor. So it can't go past me with all this going on in here and against them that have nothing of what we have, native land assessor, permission to give the Governor General the legal authority to use the 1835 King William IV Maori whakaputanga flag that has no legal authority inside it from Britain, UK Parliament, and the original native surname chiefs, not Maori chiefs, you have in your corrupt fraud crown organisation. So I know the RSA is flying the two King William IV flags, which one has legal authority from this court and the other has no authority from this court or native surname chiefs to Britain direct and not through Australia, Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth II scam crown monarchy Rothschild families. So your government is flying one of those flags for your illegal, fraud, corrupted Maori crown, iwi government, not the other Maori outside, and the other flag for the Native Confederation of individual chiefs, sovereigns of their native lands, and not mixed with your corporate private company, Maori iwi's trustees. We charge them all £1 trillion note each. So we are going ahead with cashing the pound note against you all with this, our flag ownership authority and enforcement law acts, supreme laws of our Dutch Protestant kings today, Tuesday, 27th of September, 2022. So there's the video there. Andy, you can push on that. No, not the first one, that's the website. The letters to Jacinda, the second one. The second one is a short one, just showing me with the registered letters. So we have it in this court that I served them with. There, press on the second one. Can you open it? We're going to watch this. I'll just go silent while it runs. Oh, no sound.
Is that okay?
Got a speaker.
Do you want to play?
Yeah, I want you to play it, but no sound.
Oh, you can't hear it? Oh, 1 second then.
No. Go back to the beginning. This is the notice to the three of them.
Yeah, let me just.
To the trustees today at the post office. I want to show this, that they've been served. Push it back to the beginning.
Yep.
And put the speaker on.
It's Tuesday today, the 27th of September 2022.
1922. I'm just at the post shop here in Hamilton, in the base, just sending these letters and books, writ warrant, decree, deed, land title, native title documents, to make sure it's registered, got the tracking numbers there, tracking numbers, there, and there, and there. That one's to the Senator Dern, it's to the Governor General, and that one's to the trustees of Kororareka Marae. So there, so that's an effort of a job. I'm just trying to see how to turn the camera around. I don't know how to turn the camera around. No, I'll just put it this way. So there, that's it from me, John Wanoa. We have our court hearing tonight at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. And we'll be talking about these, and they'll be filed for the police as well as a crime, criminal organisation, and stealing our Confederation of individual chiefs flag and contract to Britain, to the King William IV and King William III and King George IV. So yeah, so that's me today. I'm glad it's all finished now. It took a little bit of a while to do, but see we are here online tonight, and we'll explain the two flags and everything that the government is doing to try and steal it for themselves. Okay, so see you later. Bye. Okay, that's what's the next one? Just have a look at what the next one is.
Just go back to it. I think. Should just go back to it. I'll have to scroll down again to it in a second. Just clicking on like that. You want
Don't play it. Just let me see it.
1 second.
I want to play the one with the flag, with the two flags of Gregory, the Admiral. I want to play that one full. It's not that long. Letters to Jacinda, no, not that one. Facebook. Which one is? I think that one of them is the Facebook one is Gregory. Maybe the third one. The third, not that one. That's the website one. Yeah, that one. I think that try that one, and see if we strike it as the two flags. I want to explain the flags afterward. Oh, that's it. That's the one.
This isn't the one.
No.
Lunch is done. Beautiful fish and chips from the local store.
This isn't the one, John. This isn't the one with the two flags.
So we're on
it.
Mikey Hill Flagstaff.
Oh, that's one. Oh, that's one.
The cutter is flying on the port side yardarm, which is correct. It is signalling it is on land at this point in time. Bearing in mind the cutter is both a ensign, a naval flag for the sea, a contract flag, and also a land flag. It's unique in that right, and its respect internationally. There is no other flag that can do that. If you've not been to Mikey Hill, Kororareka, this is the initial contract of Confederation to the to the King's seals. We're looking out to sea now, pure east. Pure south, pure west, and that's over to that side there. I'll try and zoom in, you might be able to see it. Again, that's the upper house, Flagstaff of Waitangi, across the creek there. Sorry, it's not that great a camera shot for that, but just to give you a general perspective. Tucker Thompson sailing out there, flying the cutter as well, I must say. And that's Pure North. So that was a bit of a reconnaissance for the viewer as to the concept of the Pānui sent out. homeguardglobal.com. Free download of the Pānui there, as well as application to view the Home Guard Manifest. I understand on the 28th of October 2022 the dignitaries of the Parliament and Government will be here at the dawn ceremony, of which at this stage I understand I have been granted a VIP to meet with those people along with any council of my choosing. Far horizon there, that very peaky top of the maunga, that's Ngātonga, which heads out to Rāwhiti, hole in the rock. Well, we've got a bit of rain heading our way, so I'll be quick. Flipping. So the objective, I think, is reasonably clear for anyone. Again, any questions you may have regarding RSVP, catering, we're keen to help with catering, but the initial site at Russell Oroa Bay Holiday Park we can provide ourselves. I will potentially reach out for kaimahi and donations towards potentially a hangi situation and other ways of ensuring our visitors are well taken care of there. So hope you enjoyed your day hanging out with the Admiral. It's an absolute privilege and honour to be able to try and put something like this together. And without your support, just on a side note, the itinerary as far as the 13 Chiefs King's Bench Court, we're not only asking people that may be siding with us, we're also up for the alternative narrative, other people that may be opposing that view. This is an open forum. We must be bold enough to hear those grievances, however they may sound to us. So I welcome even dissenters of the idea. I only ask that you bring your evidence respectfully of the whole, that you will not be shut down to have your say. So again, if you're wishing to have that say for the King's Court Bench and to present your evidence based on that Pānui, please RSVP your intention to be balloted to present your case. None of this is going to be easy. Hawaka Minga, Hawaka Pūtanga, any identity frankly has the opportunity to speak their truth. Even if myself personally may have my own views on that. It's not about me, it's about collecting evidence and collecting ambition and desires of others that are also natives of this country. A native of any country is a person born of the land. It's not a colour or creed thing. And as you can see, as some have seen my personal seal, Unitum Confederatus is the ethos. I don't perceive that we have all the answers as the Confederation, but I'm open to the thought of democracy in the future moving forward. So I'm going to keep this one really nice and short and sweet. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Share any of the videos reach out through the email as far as questions go. If we can answer them, we'll try our best to be prompt and without delay or prejudice to respond. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with the Admiral. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you. So the other one is the two flags. Andy, that's the only other one we need to watch.
I'll find that.
So if you can go to that one, that's very important for me to explain what's going on there afterwards at the end where the agenda is. I'll go through all the agenda.
Good morning, Admiral here. Staff and I are in Paihia this morning having a little breakfast meeting, and while we were passing through Paihia we happened to notice the RSA Paihia Flagstaff Memorial flying two kata, or two Confederate flags, Confederation of Native Chiefs flags, and from a signal point of view, that's quite interesting. Theoretically, there should be a British flag on the starboard side, but however, we've got two flags up here. Keeping in mind, as I reported the other day from Waitangi on Saturday, I think, that there was no flag flying up at the upper grounds. So for me, from a signaler's point of view, this is a very interesting signal. I could interpret it a couple of ways. One is they're representing that the Admiral's on land and at sea, or it's representing that the Crown is null and void at this stage. And why I say that, as we all know, QE2 has passed away, and today is her Memorial Day, I guess, if you want to call it that. So really they should be at half mast, but they're not. Just reminding you, this is the RSA Paihia. As you can see, there's a big prop there of the battleship, and so it signals to me, from the RSA's point of view, that they're up for negotiation as far as the protectorate goes. Charles, even though he's been proclamated around the Commonwealth, which is one part of the process, the next part, because we're in a thing called Regency now, which means that anyone that has bloodline or wants to have a play at taking the throne of England, therefore Great Britain, therefore Europe, he's still got a few things to do yet before that actually comes to a coronation point. So what he has to do, once the Commonwealth nations have proclamated, because remember I was talking about things called oaths and how they're illegal on land. When the Queen was alive, say if you worked at the council or for the police or for the military or something, you swore allegiance to their successor as well, and that's what we're seeing through different parliaments around, particularly in Westminster. They're making proclamations to say that they accept the succession of Charles. But if the RSA are not either flying the company flag New Zealand nor the British flag, but two Confederation of Native Tribes flags, then that begs the question as to where the defensive or the protection is being held. So it's saying to me, at this stage, the Confederation, based on the Kōrō side of the river, has the authority right now. That's how I read it. Now, that's to me very big news. It's a signal, and because Charles, once the proclamations have been done across the Commonwealth, He's then got to go and sit on the seat of Scone, which is in Scotland, the sacred stone. He's also got to have his left foot on top of the Jacob's pillow. Then he's got to have the orb in his left hand and the scepter in his right hand. Then he is coronated. Then he's meant to tour the entire Commonwealth to pick up the proclamations in full regalia. So if he doesn't turn up here with full regalia, then he's a false flag in himself, so to speak. So that's very interesting. And the old law of sovereignty when it comes to the crown is that those are the part of the processes that we as people, doesn't matter who you are, just general citizens of the Commonwealth, need to make sure they perceive and comprehend the ceremony that then ascends the throne and ascends the crown, be it Charles or anybody, that they have to, that's part of the process for us to be aware of. So this is very interesting signalling to me. I don't take these things lightly. This is not some fashion show thing. This is about correct signal to stand up correct authority based on the agreements. If we go back to John Wanoa's Zoom meeting on Saturday night, he extrapolated that content from out of all the documents, be it treaty or otherwise, that it says quite clearly at the beginning that it's sovereignty to individual chiefs and the Confederation. That is the first part of the conversation. This is the part that we speak to, the commercial side of the agreement. With the commercial side of the agreement, we also it's incumbent within that the protection of the crown. So quite poignant today on Queen Elizabeth II's holiday for her death and the alleged proclamation of Charles to be king. These are the things that we look out for on our municipalities, our courts, our schools, our hospitals, our council buildings, anything officially to do with that. That's what we're looking for. If we start seeing this signal on the municipality buildings particularly, then we're starting to see a change of the guard. And the conversation that we're having inside the Confederation and publicly for everyone to witness is this question. Once we go to Westminster as a delegation to uplift the titles, then this is the signal that we potentially can go with. Te waka putanga, te waka mienga, slightly different stories. So this is the debate that I'm inviting people to for the 25th through the 28th at Oroma Bay, Russell Oroma Bay Holiday Park, to come and lay out all our documentation down for scrutiny, not just from the choir, but outside of the choir, the general public. Because it's the general public that may have very little idea what's going on with all of this, that need to be informed. So if they choose to take Charles on board through proclamation, they know what they're looking for. So I just thought, out of a matter of interest, that I'll just stop down here for 5 minutes on our way back to the Home Office, just to show you that across particularly Aotearoa and the globe, that there's something unique going on here in the Bay of Islands when it comes to the contract law between ourselves and the Crown. So yeah, very interesting. So have a good rest of your day, take care, enjoy the day off. It's windy, it's a bit ugly up here today, but still beautiful. So looking forward to it. Lots are happening on the Pānui, lots of good feedback, lots of good questions. Just while I'm touching on that, I've had a couple of emails from people saying, trying to access the manifest, that they're getting a bit of like a virus warning and things like that. I'm assured from my tech crew that yes, there may be some issues between different platforms as far as accessing it, but he assures me it is safe. So again, that'll be on you, whether you want to do that, but from my tech point of view, they're telling us that it should be safe to access the manifest, even though some people are getting viral warnings. So yeah, have a great day, take a break, enjoy yourselves, crack a bottle, celebrate a bit of a moment, enjoy each other's company. See you soon. The Admiral.
You can go back now. That's all I need to see, to witness what those two flags are. Now I can explain it. I'll explain it while we're right where the flags are, and then I'll skip it in the agenda afterwards. So Andy, the reason why those two flags are up is because one has the contract to Britain direct to Westminster Parliament and the King's authority to King William III, 1682 Municipal Corporations Act, Corporations Act of that 8-point star, to pick up the land rents and all the taxes and everything for this big crown that we're going after as our ownership of that trust. So there, I'm putting the hammer down tonight to tell Ngāpuhi, that is your business. It is not the business of the Crown in Wellington. Theirs with the United Nations and Aotearoa registered over there, not Britain. You won't see that word Aotearoa in the British land records in Scotland. You only see Aotearoa in the United Nations, where they've screwed all the money from this trust that belongs to us in Britain. That's why I'm that way into safety, where no mortgages in this court. We squash all the mortgages because we don't need them. We have the debt instrument with the £2 note to go right across all the criminal fraud of spoils of criminal activity, to go after that, to claw it back into the people of the world on their native land after we get our native land back tonight. Okay, so Ngāpuhi, take heed. Put your name on these legal documents, because they are legal, and they make the law and make the flag legal for us. If this government in Wellington has made that flag legal for them, they've stolen it. They've stolen the authority of these Dutch kings that are lined up on these documents. They've stolen it for their corporation. So that's another fraud. That's another big fraud of usurping something without disclosing where they get their authority from to run their corporate business, because it's a corporate flag for corporate business to keep people out of the road from here, the native chiefs, individuals, to Westminster Parliament. There, right there. It stops anybody tampering with our contract and trying to steal it. I'm making this plain tonight that they are intending to steal it when they've already stolen it from 1837 after the 1835 declaration. They switched it and legislated it out so that 1835 had no legal power, and they put the 1840 founding document in to give them the legal power to usurp that flag for their corporate business. That's what I'm saying. We're building them for everything they've stolen without disclosing, tampering with our contract flag at Waitangi, and the Navy is liable too. The Navy here is liable for giving the Admiralty jurisdiction of the sea and the land flag, that land flag, dry land flag, both to the government. So without the Navy over here to represent the Admiral of mortgages on these lands here, and not the British Navy mortgage, they use their own Navy here with the government controlling the Navy to pay them. That's why we got nowhere when I was in the Whakamininga. We got nowhere with the Navy coming to help us with our documents to do what we want them to do. they said, you don't pay our wages, John, so we can't help you one bit. Even though you're right in everything you're doing, but we can't help you because we're contracted to Wellington. See, so there, that's the distinction of the British Navy on this flag with us, the native chiefs individually and sovereign of their land. That's what it says in the Waitangi Tribunal, right there, that separates us from the Maori incorporations in Wellington, Crown, they call themselves the Maori Crown, and corporations using Maori at Waitangi, white Maoris, I must say, not black Maoris, white ones, their own ones, giving themselves authority and chieftainship on their marae as authority to themselves from their merchants that made some laws to give them the authority from somewhere. And I'm saying they took it out of that flag from straight to Britain because they're British people from Australia and some from Britain to give them over the land natives and shut the natives out and threw them off the land in the Kororareka. You won't find any Maori landowners on the Maori land there. There's no Maori land left. It's all gone. Pomare sold it. It wasn't his land in the first place because he's a Palmer. He is a white bloodline, male dominant authority and not a black Maori native or a black native. So got that one wrong. That's all wrong. All that land that's been sold by Pomare up north, all around, is illegal, fraudulent land titles that I'm saying here. Cook Street is the same as that. The wrong people sold the land. Kafaru, that professor that the Crown listened to his contemporary history, took that instead of Manukau's traditional, original native history and shut us out from getting Cook Street or any land that had Manukau name on it. Manukau Harbour, Manukau this, Manukau that, all over the place. Waikato this, Waikato that, all over the place. But the wrong tribes of Tainui claim the Manukau and the Waikato name for their corporate business. So we're claiming the Manukau and the Waikato back to the native and Britain. See the difference? And now they're going to the United Nations with those names on their documents, taking them, usurp them, to go to the United Nations and get that dirty money out there and mortgage the land some more. They're going to have to borrow that money, whereas we don't borrow. The money is in the land here, right? And the people that are crooks. So there, that's what we do there, and go after them singly. And you can stack up how many crooks you got on your land, easy in a native court. Then build them. Once we get one, the rest will go. A whole lot will go. If Ngāpui gets behind this Cook Street, one corporate thug, get that one, you get the lot. I'm telling you now, guarantee. I guarantee you that from my word, of God's word, and what I'm writing as the truth, okay, in this court. So just sign that, and it's yours to claim back 100%, not 1% or less, like what is happening. And you're going to be the last one to claim back your land from these crooked Waitangi Tribunal stories that I've gone and split out for you to have a look at. Then read it, put it on your wall, put all those pictures on the wall, then tell your young people, the generations coming, oh, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is why we got nothing. I got nothing for you. I got nothing. I got a land that's not even mine. It's all lots of people on it. We don't know who they are. They come from everywhere. There's people all over the land. In Rafidi, there's 4,000 owners on that land block, 1,400 hectares in Rafidi with Kilo's name on it, the Governor General's name on it, and she's saying she's a Maori. You see, so they can say what they like. Anybody in the Parliament can say they're Maori because it's their business to say what they want to about Maori. They can say, oh, Maori, I'm a thousandth or a millionth of a Maori, and I'm Maori because I speak a little bit of Maori. That makes me Maori. So there, that's the catch cry there. But back to the flag. Back to the two flags. One is the whakaputanga over the cross the other side of the pond, in Te Tii Marae for all those popos and their ancestors. You've got a dead whakaputanga that has no money, but it's got traditional history that you hold as Maori, that was given to you, that word was given to you as a tribe all over the country. and you stick to that, but you tell this government, that's not your whakaputanga, that's ours. See, so Ngāpui, that whakaputanga over there, you just stay and say, that's yours, not and tell the government, get off the land, get out of the road, because you've taken every wealth out of this country from using our whakaputanga, our own Maori whakaputanga, for all your business, and didn't tell us. They didn't tell them what they were doing with it. Every time they went to get permission from Te Tii Marae, the taumata gave them permission to go across the other side to Waitangi Marae, over the bridge, and do their business over there in a Copthorne hotel, and got all the luxuries in the world after they got permission from Te Tii and those ancestors in the paddock where they signed the treaty. So there, all that treaty stuff is one big scam fraud, the whole lot, because the document is suspect. The document is not real because it doesn't have the watermark of the British government press on it, the Taka 1833 watermark on the document that went to America. So that makes America fraudulent with no British connection. That's why America cut off from Britain, because they didn't want to know. They just served the flag for America because it's on dry land and they can do what they like. They can free reign. They can go and shoot anybody up in the world and use that flag for business and protection of their business. That's all. The Pope, everybody did it. The Pope's got 20 of those flags. 20 of those flags I sent with Mohi Manukau to the Prince of Malta, Prince Peter, and Iru Manukau was there. He was supposed to come back and take this country over with the government of Aotearoa, the United Nations. See? So something has switched them off from doing that, because that's not what his father wanted. He's a Freemason, to go the other way back to Britain with the Freemason, because that's what he was hoping, that Iru Manukau would get money from the United Nations, but never got it. He never got it because they just switched them off from coming back here. So that's the end of that contract, going that way with the flag. It's not going to work. Going there with the flag, the British will just stop it, because it's going against the British, the king. They've got their own king. They can use their own king flag, 5-point flag, to go to the United Nations. Don't take this whakaputanga of these Maoris up at Waitangi. Te Tii Marae, especially, because I know all about it. I've been living with them all these years, over 25 years, been living, going up and backwards and forwards to Waitangi to go there and fly the flag with them, fly the flag all over the place, fly it here, fly it there, fly it down the East Coast where I come from, and still I've got it put away because I can talk about it now, and I don't have to fly it. Andy will fly it over there in Britain and everybody else flying it for this reason of contracts, not for anything else. So there, the flag, one is flying for the whakaputanga at Waitangi on that ship. The second flag that went up for the Declaration of Independence. That's all they got over there. The 1835 Declaration of Independence that linked and brought to life the 1840 treaty from that flag, and a second contract with the 1835 Declaration with those united chiefs, the United Tribes of New Zealand. That's where that was put up all together over there. But the thing was that the other one at Kororareka is the Confederation contract, that the government is using that one and fooling everybody with the whakaputanga on the other side. So they'll coax the Maoris over there and the Hapus and everybody to come over to Maiki Hill and join them to put the flag up, and they can stand there and go for it with the whakaputanga and do all their karakias, prayers and everything to the flag, but they don't have control over that flag. The government has control of the whakaputanga flag because the iwi Maoris gave them the authority to use it the same as those white hapu Maoris on Kororareka Marae, giving the government the authority to use that flag for their business. And that's wrong. That is real wrong, Gregory, for them to do that. That's why I'm putting a hammer right through the middle of it for Ngāpuhi. If Ngāpuhi woke up and saw that, they'll get rid of them straight away. And I'm expecting Ngāpuhi to get rid of them, get them off the land, because it'll go on into the next generations. Next year, you won't have your land. It will be gone with that flag. They will take that whakaputanga flag, like how they're doing now, flying it on the RSA, the Return Services Army. They never fly the flag. They never fly the flag. And the Navy won't put it up. They'll only do it on the hill because they won't talk to it because it's corporate in Wellington and they don't want to get mixed up, but they're in it anyway. They're all in it, complicit in the fraud of the government's business, corporate business, because they have the Maori Kaumatua talk for the Navy up at Mikey Hill when they raise the flag, but they're raising it for the government corporation. They're not raising it for the whakaputanga at Titi Marae. They go straight past there. The government doesn't go there now because they've legislated going there out. They just chop them off now. They're on their own. The hapu and the whakamininga and the whakaputanga is on their own with no money. They got to borrow the money and put something up for security. They won't get free money from China. They won't get free money from the United Nations. They won't get free money from BlackRock in Britain. They won't get money from anywhere for nothing. They have to work the land, and they only got their little bits of land here and there, not for the whole country. The government won't let them take the whole country, period, because there's only allowed one government, and the whakamininga hasn't got people intelligent enough up there to take on a full country of mostly Pākehās and Chinese and try and tell them what to do. You can't get the whakamininga to tell them what to do. It just don't work. I've seen it and been in business before to know that you don't put somebody that doesn't know to run a business over someone who knows how to run a business. It just doesn't work that way in commerce. So there, that's that identifies having two flags of jurisdiction. One has British jurisdiction and one has Maori jurisdiction. Wherever that's coming from, it's not coming from Britain. It's coming from Wellington. The Maori bit of jurisdiction is being concocted by the government in Wellington and their iwi appointed authority to themselves. They are an authority to themselves. So Ngāpuhi, I'm telling you now, don't let them go up the hill and claim on that marae that they have the authority to use that flag for their corporation, because you haven't got a corporation as big as theirs, but they're hoping you don't see it. I'm just telling you flat out that they're going to steal it because they want it. They want that trust in Britain that belongs to us. They want to get it because they'll have control over the United Nations, and that money over there, they can go straight into the trust and get it and go around going to the United Nations. But they'll go into the United Nations to make everybody go there for nothing. They'll make everybody go to the United Nations for nothing. They'll just go there, but they won't do anything much, because once they get this flag next year or after the 28th, they'll just kick you. They'll just kick you like they're doing now. When they settle Ngāpuhi, that's it. No more Maori land courts, no more Maori tribunals, no more Maori tribe. They just squash it out and say, that's ours. We won't have any more Maori tribes anymore. No more. That's it. That's what they'll do. I'm just telling you. They'll just cut it off. They'll just cut you off, and you'll have to go through their district courts, which comes under their jurisdiction in Wellington, and ownership. They will own the land outright when they get that flag and they got the native title. So I'm saying we've got the native title documents to bounce them and bounce them right out of off the land in government and take the land under their feet and all the iwis out of the way. They're the ones that are driving their own self-interest and not the public interest. I'm here for the public, and they have to know the truth about that flag is very powerful, and the 5-point star has no commercial value in it. It has no commercial value in it, only this one, only one. And these lineup of kings here, that Charlie has a job. He has no experience in and no timeline of events, only the one that got executed, Charles I, executed for being bad, and I can see him ending up the same way. What's the use of going after that king? We just put Ernest Augustus V in the correct bloodline to take away all that corrupted, fraudulent business, World Economic Forum, Jacinda Ardern, her Ardern family that's behind this Pacific and African country takeover with the church, the Latter-day Saints Church, and the Mormon Church, taking over the whole Pacific, and in the Parliament, the government, and the WEF. It's been planned. They planned the whole thing right in front of your eyes, and I watched them all the time. I watched who's playing around with the trust and pounced them out of that trust. So there, that's. I can't think of what else could I say about the flag. They don't have any history of that flag to go on. Only the Declaration of Independence at Waitangi on the treaty grounds, that they're usurping that for their 1840 treaty. So there, that puts Charlie right out to try and be a king over these kings. He can't be a king over these kings in commerce. They have no connection to commerce. They're just bluffing everybody in Westminster and saying, oh, we swear an oath to King Charles. So they do it because no one's stopping them from doing it, or they've got the money to pay everybody to say that, to force them into swearing an oath to King Charles just to keep their business going. And we're coming along with the flag and swap them right out of business. Now, we can do it. We can do it together as native, and just pick on your native elder, the oldest one that I've named on Rafferty Block, because that's where the government is taking their authority from Rafferty 6 Block, because Moi Manukau told me that that's where they get their authority from, because he knows as a Freemason, they talk about it all the time, you see. They designed it. The Freemasons designed those instruments of titles, or land titles, and the native land titles. And this government, the Maori Land Court, changed it all. They switched it around so that they've got the authority over a native title that was put together by the British. See, so there, Gregory, that's something. If anybody asks questions about anything about the flags, the two flags being up, other than that, and you've got your own Admiral experience of what it means and why is it flying, because the Navy won't put it up like that together, because they know there's only one king, there's only one flag that flies and a British flag beside it. That's it. That's all they know. Not two flags of the same. You don't have two flags flying in a military, because the government in Westminster, they've amalgamated the Navy, Army and Air Force as an armed forces, British armed forces. So New Zealand government did the same thing, New Zealand armed forces, and hid the Navy right inside it so that you can't see it. That's why they stuck the flag on the Army Return Services land up the pole to tell you there's a clue. They give you a clue, but they're showing you in broad daylight theft in front of you, what they're intending to do. Why are those two flags up? I just told you from all my experience that that's the meaning of it. Two separate meanings of the same flag that they're flying for one reason, but the Pākehā Maoris are flying it for business. They're flying it for business over there, and that's our business. That's the native of the land people's business. The interests of the people should know that's your flag. That is your flag, and they're going to change the name of this country, and they have no authority without that flag's authority. That's why they grabbed the flag, because the Queen is gone, and they've got no connection to Britain at all, and they want to use this flag to hook themselves to Britain, shortcut. They want to shortcut and fool you people, fool everybody here, so that they can use this country as a guinea pig for all the other native country and screw the whole lot. Screw the whole lot from here. So Ngāpuhi and Hauraki and all the other tribes in this country get together behind these documents. I've got 20 of them, 20 and another 4 more to come to the 28th of legal documents that are online to download, read, and the videos, listen to the videos. What I'm saying is true, that's your ticket to get your country land back, everybody's land back, off these thugs and pirates, and get rid of them off the land and liquidate their business. That's how you do it. You liquidate the business. All the businesses and the property developers, lawyers, judges, all those people who have made a lot of money out of it, we go after them. We go after them. If you can name people that in the court, in the native court, anywhere in this country, we can do Zoom hearings and teach you what to do and tell you what to do. I think those people from Maniapoto or down Waikato, for Te Awhitu, he knows what to do. So he doesn't have to come on a hearing like this, because he already knows. I know he knows, although I don't know him from before. He just knows what to do. Just talking to him was enough. And so he's on the way. He's on the way. You just need all the other ones to do the same thing and start practicing these court hearings yourself and watch the videos especially. So I can't think of anything else about the flag other than the 8-point star money on the flag in the 4 corners of the Earth globe. Is our business to go anywhere in the world, free passage, and take our business with this pound note and just stick ourselves right up the top with the flag, right over the top of the inferior courts, and deal to them. I'll go through the last page now, Andy. Just scroll down a bit more. Oh, this is the transliterations. I won't say much about this, but keep going. I won't read this. It's just that these people designed this, Maori Interest Group. All these names here are Maori. They are not native. They are Maori that's been designed by the Europeans here, not Britain, here, for their Maori ownership, title, crown, business. That's the way I see it. And all you have to do is accept what is said, what we say, and then go back to being all of this. You can go back, it's just put the right thing in the right place, go to Britain and tell them, right, we know what's happening here. This is what happened, but we're going to carry on with all these names because that's us. We're Maori, but we're going to get rid of these other Maoris and all these crooked Maoris, and then we'll be our Maori selves and do what we like with how we want to live, and get rid of all the debt, get rid of all the mortgages, get rid of all this thuggery things, going jabs and all the rest of it, all the people dying, all those sort of things are on that side. And you get rid of them this way. You take the land underneath their feet. That's how you do it. You take the land so they have nowhere to stay and go back in the sea. Go back where they came from in the sea. That's how you do it. See? So you just chuck them out. Chuck them out. There's Kemara there, Campbell. That's up at Waitangi, Kemara. So Kemeras are down on our land blocks at the East Coast too. So this is how they managed to take the whole country off you. This is what they did to take the whole country off you. And these people and these surnames have lived all their lives, all these years, with this lie going on about you, and they're usurping your name for their whakapapa out of your whakapapa and your own land ownership, native. See, so there. I'm not saying things are bad about what I put here. I'm just showing you facts of how they design the word Maori to own everything that they write here and use in all their instruments. I forgot to put the 50 names of the Rafiki 6 block, but they can go and have a look at that on the last 356 pages. You'll see the names of those people, especially that block. Out of all the blocks, it's because it's in the vicinity of that first contract flag. So there, that makes it simple to know that that this is fraudulent to change things around to suit their own self-interest. Here is the Zoom link for tomorrow night, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Oh, this is the agenda. So I'll go through these and then explain them, and that will be the finish of it tonight. Kororareka Marae trustees, that's 8 of them that I've named there, and the flag ownership contract email sent and went through okay. So they got it. They got that, although they haven't replied to it, but they have time to read it, and the book is going there, should be there tomorrow, on the 28th, right on the 28th day, registered mail, so they have to sign to get it. Okay, and read out her letter. I'll read out the letter on the record, live video, this live video, making statements about them, and live video contract with the Confederation of Individual Chiefs, who I'm here for, with King William IV, British Crown Lock Institute Law in Westminster, and ownership of the flag. I'm saying the native chiefs own that flag and the contract at first letter 1831, and the agreement at 1834 to this Waitangi tribunal and those years they've been writing in. So we've got that sorted out with the marae trustees and their hapu, their own hapu, but no taumata. You need a taumata to give you authority on a marae. It has to come from all the hapus in the area. They don't do that there. They just decide themselves how they run their marae and make decisions for the government. Look how it is. Look how the government puts their authority from there, and no elder chiefs around the area coming there to celebrate it and sign or agree, or especially agree. They're kanoi to kanoi, eye to eye, in the marae. That's how that's how they always did it. And the elder one always said aye or not, or say hue tahiki, yeah, to approve what is handling with the government over the land, over the native land. So these trustees, these 8 trustees, are legally the owner. They are the owner of the land over the hapu, and every other New Zealander are on that, living around that area in that block. So that's why I went for the main block that Mohi said, Mohi Manukau, and pull out the natives out of that block, the families, and pick 3 chiefs from there, three elders from there to own that flag and that land, piece of land where the jurisdiction from Wellington comes from, to that marae, to give themselves self-authority to use the native title to the land because they're Maori, and to use the flag all these years for the authority to run a corporate business with the Admiralty and the mortgage liens over the land with the 8-point star that Cindy Kiro is wearing to pick up the money off the land of Ngāpuhi and steal it. They've stolen all that money off those lands and everybody else's land by wearing that and claiming the Irish 8-point star that belongs to us. That's our ownership title on that flag that belongs to us and Britain in the first and second contract with you, Andy, and all those British people, Ireland and England, Wales and Scotland. You're with us on this with that St. Patrick's 8-point star, and they can stick their 5-point star up themselves and mind their own business and leave our business alone, because we're going into business right now. We're going into business and cash up the pound note and get rid of them, dissolve their business and rid them off the land with their dirty laws and dirty ideas with what they're doing with people's lives. They're hurting people in their lives and taking control over them. This is control. People watching this video, this is your control over that thug pirate government and the Governor General and their inferior authority over us and our own ownership flag. So go to the next one. Jacinda Ardern email went for a ride. We got the receipt from her receiving it, an email. So she's got it before. We did the same thing with a registered mail before. She never replied, and she hasn't replied again. So it makes us legal to put this £100 trillion note on her head again, and tell the police. I will tell the police what happened here on this video, because they get to see it. This is factual proof that she can't contest a higher authority of jurisdiction and legal authority of this flag over us. We turn the flag on them and pay the police here their bill for 5 to 10 years ahead with one single pound note over her head, and then that's how we're going to start this this pound note equity business of inhuman collateral over their agents, the Crown agents, who are running a scam business on our land. So that's her locked in the contract. They're locked to me first, and the chiefs, whoever wants to be a chief, to put their name on the book in that lineup on that one block. That's all I'll have to do, because it's got significance and it's been timed well in advance with Maoris in government, and especially a Maori Governor General who ticks it off without Britain. She ticks it off with a plastic queen. Now they've got a problem how they're going to use Prince Charlie. He's still got to prove himself as a legitimate king of Britain, UK. His mother was only a queen of England, not the British Empire. They're not part of the British Empire, only the Dutch kings. So they can't do that. King Charles can't take this off us. He can't assume like Prince Charles, Prince Philip did, and assume the authority of the Navy as the commander-in-chief of the Navy, like the Americans do. They assume they are the commander-in-chief, or the president is claiming the Admiral title, and I'm claiming the same Admiral title as him with this flag, with the King's flag over his head, and drop the pound note on his head. That's why their photos are all stacked up and nothing happened. It's still there. That just shows you, Ngāpuhi, nobody's saying anything about this court yet. And we've done enough courts on your land up there, and you didn't see it. But if you see it now, it's in your benefit to grab it, because I won't be alive very long. And all I want to do is see all your people freed up and have a bit of wealth to yourselves after all these years of having no wealth, and your generations to come, the ones that are not jabbed will be all right, but the ones that are jabbed I feel sorry for, because you can't reverse it. They're owned. You're owned by these thugs, and we try and get you back, but then you're hurt, you're damaged, you're damaged, and we'll put an end to that with this flag. We'll drop the flag right over that monstrous thing and beast, and drop the thing. drop the thing like David and Goliath, drop the Goliath down with their flag on top of their head. So there, that's Jacinda Ardern, Cindy Kero instrument in stealing the Confederation flag contract to Britain as a whakaputanga government flag. So that's what I'm saying, is she is going to steal it in front of your nose, Ngāpuhi, and I'm saying to you to stop her from doing that before she opens her mouth, or anybody opens their mouth on that marae, to stop them in their tracks. That's what I'm saying. And not a confederation of individual chiefs flag contract with the King William IV locked in partnership, whereas Cindy is locked to Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth to scam corporation business. Now wants our King's contract flag. No way we are going to let her do this. That's what I'm saying. I hope you follow what I'm saying as being at this too long. Number 4. We need to get chiefs' names into the flag contract native land title deeds before the 28th of October 2022 will be too late. They would steal the flag on that day at Kororareka Marae as a Maori crown. See, so that's why they put all the Maoris in the parliament, to give them pittance or a token of being in a co-government, but they won't give them the power to run the government scam for themselves. So there, we dropped this flag on their head today. 5, we are Native Confederation of Individual Chiefs, that's what we're claiming now, as the sovereign landowners, as the Waitangi Tribunal says, of our lands and natural resources, and we are the legal owners of the Confederation of Individual Chiefs 8-point star of St. Patrick's Island and King William III Municipalities Corporation Act 1682, law flag overriding the Maori government whakaputanga flag, mirror image, false flag, usurpation by the New Zealand Crown Corporation government pirates on the high seas, 5-point star Union Jack flag ownership. That's their flag. They can stick to their flag and don't touch this one, Ngāpuhi. 5, 2 flags flying, and what it means, as far as I'm concerned, I will say it for the court records tonight, what the government is really up to. I told you already, they need both flag jurisdictions in order to have authority to run and own this country. So I'm telling you, people, to own this country this way and take the ownership of that government off. In this court tonight, we can rule on it, and I'll make the decision for you, because you wouldn't know as much of this information to make any decision. So I'm making the decision for all of you people in this country, all the sovereigns, meaning all the native people born here, and the ones that have been here, the elders of any culture, is still an elder to have a say in this court when we get this sorted out. When we get these Maoris out of business in Parliament and the iwi off the land, give the land back to the hapu, and the hapu can have control forever and a day, and all the other native countries in the world can follow suit and take it off these thugs and pirates. Okay, hope to finish early. So Andy, I think that wraps it up, and we find those 3, the 8 trustees, landowners, legal landowners, guilty of the crimes of the church and state and the Crown Corporations, trusts and governments, private corporations, and every other private corporation or public corporation that's landowners that are in that system, raking the money for themselves. That means every property developer, every lawyer, every judge, and people that have benefited more than the normal people struggling. So this is how you get out of struggling anymore. We want to clear the whole system right out of business, and this is the way to do it legally and legitimately. So there, we find the trustees guilty as prosecuted and fined and committing the same fraud as the government. And we find Cindy Caro, before she commits the fraud, that we're saying she's going to commit the fraud and catch her now, and she's liable now because the whole thing is connected to the World Economic Forum control of the whole world. And so we stop her in her tracks, and Jacinda Ardern for the WEF and the World Health Organization and the New World Order and all those Pope, City of London corporation that we're up against. We're going right into them, and City of London Corporation and the Vatican City Corporation of the Pope. We're up against him because we're using his law on him, but especially the King's Admiral law we're using on him with this flag. We're putting the flag right on his head and put him out of business. Right? That's what I'm saying from the Protestant church against the Catholic Church, trying to shut down the Protestant church. Right? They're not quite there yet. We haven't finished with them. And then we got the Washington, D.C. with the deep, dark state in collusion with those other two corporations and Biden and his messy lot that no one can catch them. Only this flag and these chiefs can catch them out. And so there, that's one for you, Ngāpuhi, especially you, because it's on your land up there. The authority is your business. I'm telling you, that is your business. Legally belongs to you and the flag. And so I'm flying the flag for that reason, to keep ownership of it intact and speak for it. Speak for the flag from the British end with Andy, flying the flag behind him. He's keeping that end of the bargain up, of the contract. And I'm keeping this end of the contract going live with all the right documents and legal instruments to whop them out, to get rid of them. Okay, that's it. That's it. Thank you very much.
So I shall end this hearing now then. Time now is 12:21, so that would be 9:21, I take it, in New Zealand. And
10:21 here.
10:21 New Zealand, so it's 27th September 2022. End of the hearing now then.